Okay, so we're live. What's going on, folks? It is me, Shawn, RGT85 here, and yeah, so Jason's feeling under the weather, and we weren't gonna do anything tonight, but I decided, you know what, I'll do something myself. Like, who cares? I'll just answer questions and whatnot. So that'll be cool. So yeah, I figured this would be good. I did a debate last night on the personal channel, RGT85. I had Rerez and Player Essence on there. And if you haven't seen that debate, I highly suggest you go check it out. It was actually a really good debate. I had over 370 live viewers at one point, so it was pretty hype. The whole point of that, though, was for them to sort of talk about the Switch, so I didn't say anything. I was pretty much just the moderator. So I thought this would be cool just to, Q&A. I mean, of course, this is not, my answers aren't representative of, the channel as a whole or enthusiast.gg, but, this is me, my thoughts on things. And yeah, so, fire up some questions. We'll talk about, the Switch. We'll talk about whatever, and these will just be my thoughts, candid, live and uncut. Am I going to host another debate? I might, man. If I can get views like that, I might do that. That was crazy. A lot of people are watching it after the fact too, which is really dope. It's got like over 4,000 or almost 4,000 views on it right now. So obviously there's a market for that stuff. And, I like doing live stuff. I think live stuff is good. It's good for interaction. It's good for, just off the cuff sort of stuff. Getting buff. Sorry. But yeah, so I like live shows. I'll probably do more. Who do I think won the debate? That's tough to say, I definitely think a lot of people slept on OJ. A lot of people thought Rerez was just going to run away with it. And I think OJ definitely held his own and made some really good points. So, I mean, flip a coin and that's your winner, in my opinion. In the poll that I did, OJ was declared the winner by the viewers. So, take that as you will. But, both him and Shane did a great job. So, no losers in my book. What do I think about paying for online and needing a phone app for voice chat? That's a very interesting question. So we can start off with that. Paying for online is not a bad thing, in my opinion. When you look at the Wii and the Wii U, and to a lesser extent the 3DS, what was one of the biggest problems with those systems? It was the online play. You didn't have a voice chat for very many games. You didn't have lobbies. You didn't have basic online features that have been a staple in Xbox Live for quite a long time. And if you look at Xbox Live, it's always had a maintenance fee. The PlayStation Network didn't on the PS3, and they switched to a paid model on the PS4. And a lot of people don't like that. But one thing I want you guys to remember is boot up your PS3 and go to the PlayStation Network store and see how long it takes you. See how long it takes just to bring up a menu in that store. It's like so bad, and it has nothing to do with their internet. So I am not fully against it. The phone thing is kind of weird. I understand it because I think that's going to be for the to lessen things on the operating system. But I think it's kind of weird. I definitely need to see it in action, but I'm not. A lot of people are writing it off like, oh, this is stupid, but I'm not willing to write it off quite yet. I need to see some more of that. What Switch games am I getting at launch? I am getting Zelda and Super Bomberman so far. I'm going back and forth on the Binding of Isaac. I have no interest in Just Dance or 1-2 Switch, but I have a funny feeling that 1-2 Switch will end up in my mailbox. What's your take on if Nintendo went to devs and got exclusive third-party games to make their library to be different of that in Sony and Microsoft? I honestly think that's a very big possibility, because actually from what OJ told me last night is that Bomberman happened because of Nintendo. Nintendo went to Konami and said, hey, we want a Bomberman game. And they were like, okay. So they gave him a Bomberman game. So that's a lot of people sleep on Bomberman. Bomberman is a big deal to a lot of retro gamers. I mean, that was a huge part of our lives. Bomberman 64, that single player was whatever, but that multiplayer still gets played today. So I think it's interesting. I think it's a viable tactic. And it's something that they really need to do in order to get third-party games because, you know, a lot of people are complaining about Western developers. We haven't seen enough from Western developers, blah, blah, blah. Western developers only give a shit about one thing, money. They don't care if it's a calculator. If it's a calculator that's selling millions of units, guess what? You're going to have games on it. You're going to see companies wanting to work on this calculator. All they care about is what gets sales. And if the Switch can get sales, you'll see those Western games. People are putting way too much stock. Why didn't you see the Western games on the Wii U? Why did you see them at the start of the system with games like Splinter Cell, Batman Arkham Origins, NBA 2K, Madden? You saw all that shit at the start of it, but at the middle to end, you saw nothing because the system wasn't selling. It's as simple as that. And one thing I do want to bring up, I see a lot of online stuff in here. There is no confirmation on what the price is going to be. So as long as the price matches the features and the features are decent, and I mean, they can also do a lesser price point than, you know, what these other companies are doing at almost, you know, 50, 60 bucks a month. If they go 40, offer the same sort of feature set, you're not in bad shape. Should Nintendo get a exclusive Call of Duty on the Switch? No. And I'm going to say no because I believe that you will see Call of Duty, the latest iteration, on here for one major reason. Because if the Switch has a good launch, you will see Call of Duty, no problem. Because what's going to happen is that is an untapped market. Mobile Call of Duty is still an untapped market. You saw some Call of Duties on the DS that sold pretty decently. There was one on the Vita, did pretty decent as well. But a full console-like experience where you can have other Switch users in the same room on their own tablet, that's an untapped market. And that's a market I can see Activision wanting to get into. So I honestly feel as long as they, oh wow, this chat is moving quick. I might have to answer a little faster. I feel as long as Nintendo gets a good solid launch and they start moving units, you'll see Madden, you'll see Call of Duty this year, you'll see all those games. It just depends on how good of a launch it has. What is my opinion on the expensive accessories? That's twofold. The Joy-Cons evidently have a lot of technology in them. And I'm not super familiar. I haven't had a chance to put them in my hands or whatever, but there's a lot of technology in there. Is it needed technology? Maybe. It remains to be seen. It definitely has to prove itself. And I think that's what Nintendo's going with 1-2 Switch, but that game's going to freaking bomb anyways. You know, I think it's overpriced, but if you look at the marketplace, I mean, you're paying $40 to $60 for a name brand controller, no matter what system you're getting it on. So it's actually sort of in line. The Joy-Cons are a little bit expensive, but they'll be third party. I mean, I'm not buying a Switch Pro controller, not a Nintendo one. I'm getting the Hori one. Like shit, that'll be half price. So, you know, don't even think the newest Call of Duty has split screen though. That's fine. If you put split screen in the newest Call of Duty for the Switch version, that's an exclusive feature. And that's one thing that the system can offer that none of these other systems can. Now, this isn't Class versus Crass. Jason is under the weather, and I just wanted to talk. I just wanted to talk some Switch stuff. Yeah, exactly. A $40 Pro controller from Hori, and it looks good. Why wouldn't I buy that instead? And that'll just force Nintendo to have to lower their prices. I mean, simple as that, if that starts selling well. So a lot of people are saying that the launch lineup is really bad, but there's a couple things I want people to keep in mind with this. And I'm not defending Nintendo in any way, shape, or form. The Legend of Zelda on the Switch is a superior version. Point blank. Everything you've seen says it's a superior version. I don't foresee a large segment of Wii U owners getting the Wii U version and not getting the Switch version, to me. Switch pre-orders have been selling out like crazy. You have Bomberman at launch, and then you have Mario Kart the next month. And Mario Kart sold over 8 million units on a system that only sold 13 million units. So is that those two games right there, Mario Kart and Zelda are going to move units. And then you have Splatoon in the summer, which also moved over 4 million units, or nearly 4 million units worldwide. So, I mean, what matters at the end of the day? Quantity or quality? If you look at the Wii U's lineup, there was a lot of third-party games on there, but all of those third-party games had either already been released on another system or they were something like Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect 3 released on the Wii U when the trilogy released on the PS3 and Xbox 360 for the same price. For the same price. Who's going to buy the Wii U version? So, I mean, they're actually setting themselves up pretty decently, I feel. And yeah, the N64 only had 2 games at launch, and that did okay. So I don't think it's a big deal as a lot of people are making it. Early adopters are buying it for Zelda. Early adopters are buying it for Mario Kart. Early adopters are buying it for Splatoon 2 in the summer. Like, it'll be all right. It'll be fine. People are just, you know, people just, it's fun to be negative about Nintendo, and it gets views. I mean, if you're negative about Nintendo, you're going to get views. If you're overly positive about Nintendo, you're going to get views. If you're right in the middle, it's a little bit of a struggle. So you got to kind of develop a little personality. Let's see here. Wii U being a flop is the reason the Virtual Console wasn't good. You're probably not incorrect. Let's see. How do you think Nintendo should handle the Virtual Console? It's an interesting question. I'm going to do Michael Oliver's question first because it's an easier question. The Switch not launching with streaming multimedia features is actually in line with every other console. The PS4, I believe, did not have Netflix at launch. So it's not a huge deal. As long as it comes out in that, you know, release window, it's not a huge deal. Like, I have a million things to watch Netflix on. I'm here to play video games, you know. But as far as Nintendo should handle the Virtual Console, there should be a ton of releases for it. I don't care if you overflood the market with Virtual Console games. One of the best things about the Wii was the Virtual Console and the Wii Shop, or whatever it was called. You had games like Castlevania Rebirth. You had the whole Rebirth series. You had, you know, TurboGrafx, Game Gear. It's such a huge variety. And then on the Wii, it was like it was so much smaller. And I was like, okay, you got a more powerful system. You have built-in hard drive of 32 gigs. Yet we have a shittier online store. Like, that made no sense to me. I think My Nintendo is definitely going to play into that as well. And I think you're going to see more about that probably a couple weeks before the system launches. What are my dream third-party games for the Switch? To be honest with you, I'm getting some of my dream games already. I'm getting a brand new Bomberman in 2017. I'm getting Sonic Mania, which when I saw that trailer, I was like, why the hell is this not coming out on a Nintendo system? And it's coming to my Nintendo Switch. I'm getting, and I don't care what anyone in the chat says about this game, Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challengers, is going to be a fun game. You're taking, and people say, it's the same thing as that thing that released on the Xbox 360 and PS3 online store. First off, you're wrong. It is the same base game. However, they have included 2 new characters. They have done rebalancing. They have redone the graphics slightly. They are also adding in new modes. There's also going to be online, just like it was in that version. You also can do 2-player anywhere you freaking go if you want to use the little Joy-Cons. And it's Street Fighter 2, the greatest fighting game of all time. Okay, this game has more content than Street Fighter 5 did at launch and for many months after launch. So, like, and then, you know, I'm getting some really good third-party games in my first year. And exclusives. Bomberman, exclusive. Street Fighter, currently an exclusive. Sonic Mania, multi-plat. But, I mean, obviously it's going to be better on the Switch because you could take it with you. And that is a benefit that these other companies do not have. And that is something to actually be excited about. How much is Street Fighter going to be? They have not said yet. No, Street Fighter 2 is going to be physical. If you look on Nintendo's website, it's like Bomberman. It'll be physical and digital. So physical all day for me on that. I think 50 or less for sure. It's not going to be a $60 game. At 40 is a sweet spot. But I mean, even if it's $50, if you've got Amazon Prime or Best Buy Gamers Club, which everyone has, you know, it's going to be $40 or less. So, you know, where can you pre-order the Switch? Walmart's getting some more in, I heard. Am I ignoring the E3 comments? No, just type them again. I haven't. The chat's moving pretty fast. Do you think 1-2 Switch is way overpriced? Yes. Yes, that's looks like a $20 game to me. What is my opinion on my Nintendo as it is now? It sucks. Sucks. There's nothing to it. It needs to be redone. It needs to be revamped for the Switch, and I feel it will be. E3 Metroid is being announced. Maybe. I don't think they need it. I don't think they need it this year. Why would you announce? I don't want to see, honestly, I don't want to see Metroid this year at E3 because, one, it's probably nowhere near done. Two, you have Mario Odyssey. I want to see things that are coming out in the fall and the winter and the spring. And I don't feel that that you'll see Metroid in that launch window. So I honestly don't think you'll see it at E3. And that's fine. They don't need Metroid right now. Everyone thinks they need Metroid right now. They don't need Metroid. Metroid is not a system seller, folks. Look at the sales statistics. You know what they need to show at E3? Pokemon. That is what's big. They've been making a Metroid for 3 years. They've sure been quiet as hell about it. Collectors will still buy physical. Well, see, the thing about the Switch is those cartridges are so small. And I mean, you could I lug around cartridges for my 3DS. I have a little carrying case. So I don't think that'll be a huge problem. I think you're already seeing, Hori is making a ton of accessories for the thing. So I don't think that's a huge deal. Chances of Retro's game being at E3, it all depends on what it is. If it's not Metroid, like people have been saying, I think there's a good chance. I think you'll see a surprise game at E3. I think something that maybe you're not thinking of, I'm not thinking of, nobody's thinking of. Do I think Nintendo should work with Funko and make Nintendo Pops? Yeah, that's a license to print money, man. Some of my boys are like D from D-Dave. He's really into the Pop game. Me personally, I have no interest in Pops, but a lot of people are interested, so that's not a terrible thing. E3 Nintendo has to show games for 2017. Well, see, here's the thing, and here's one of the benefits that Nintendo has about E3. We already know Microsoft has nothing. Their big game for the year, their big exclusive is what? Halo Wars? Halo Wars 2? Is that a thing? Is people excited about that? So Microsoft doesn't have much. PlayStation is going to be pushing the hell out of that VR that is flopping in the marketplace right now. So that leaves one company. It leaves Nintendo. And Nintendo systems are already going to be out, so they don't have to worry about talking about that. All they have to show is the games. If Microsoft is showing multiplats and technology, Sony is showing off VR and games for 2018 and beyond, and Nintendo comes out and says, oh, hey, you know what? We got a bunch of games that are coming out in the fall, in the winter, in the spring, in the summer. I mean, that's a license to print money. It could have the same. Nintendo set themselves up to where they can do the same thing they did in 2014, which was show off a bunch of freaking games, show off Bayonetta 2, show off Hyrule Warriors, show off Smash Brothers. And that was when the Wii U was at its best. It still didn't sell well. It still didn't sell that great, but it had a decent holiday. Mario, I don't know if Mario Maker will get another release. I don't think so. I think that ship has kind of sailed on Mario Maker. How much support do you think Ubisoft will provide for the Switch? Ubisoft is a company much like EA, much like Activision, much like, I guess you could say Bethesda, but Bethesda is supporting the system, at least initially. Ubisoft goes where the money is. Ubisoft goes where, there's money to be made. And, that's just how it is. So as long as the system sells well, Ubisoft will be there. That's all that matters. All that matters is sales, man. All that matters at the end of the day is if the system is selling. If the system is selling, the companies will come. If you build it, they will come. And I think it's going to have a great launch. And because of that great launch, you're going to get games. Does the Switch have a bar? If not, how do the Joy-Con motion controls work? That's a damn good question. I have no idea. I haven't seen a bar. Obviously, unless there's one built into the screen, since the screen can emulate, whatever. that that a TV screen would do, just at a 720p. Do I think Destiny will come out on the Switch? No. Maybe Destiny 2, but no. Is RGT 85 going to be on the Virtual Console? I wish. Oh, shit. Somebody's going to win that game tonight. I forgot about that. Good thing you reminded me. Do you think you'll get another Direct before the Switch launches? Probably not. Maybe a North American only thing or a regional thing. I think the Switch does have personalized menus because in that tweet that Nicalis made showing off some of their games that they're porting, like Cave Story and whatever, it had a different screen. What's a sleeper game? Don't say Second Sight. Metal Gear is solid because that game is tied to Nintendo. Is the Switch a 3DS replacement? If it sells well, yes. If it sells well, the 3DS is dying in 2018. Your Wii U 2016 is going to be your 3DS 2018. If it happens. Are Joy-Cons hindering the Nintendo Switch? That's a very interesting question. I have not played with the Joy-Con, so I cannot fully answer it. It could end up being a phenomenal thing. I don't think it's necessarily helping, though. But I do like the fact it's a double-edged sword because it is very cool that you're getting a system that has two-player right out of the box. No matter where you go with that system, you've got two-player mode. And no other system, no other handheld, no other video game device in history has offered that. Well, I mean, initially at launch. I mean, there's always been, bundles or whatever. Shenmue 3 for Switch. Is Shenmue 3 even coming out on anything? Like, what's going on with that game? Yeah, Nintendo was probably pissed. The thing is, if you piss off Nintendo, they're not that bad. They're just like, hey, you need to take that down. Trust me, I've been there. They're just asking you to take it down. It's not a huge deal. No, it's nothing beyond a slap of the wrist. What do I think about Snipper Clips? I haven't really watched much about it, but everyone seems to love it. Not my cup of tea, really, but I'm keeping my eye on it. Will Bomberman price drop again? No, and it doesn't need to. It's a $50 game. It has over 100 single-player missions. It has 8-player online. It's a Bomberman. And at the $50, I bought it at $60, folks. I pre-ordered it at $60, and then they changed it to $50, and I was like, woohoo! So, not a huge deal to me. But as a Bomberman fan, excuse me. As a Bomberman fan, I am stoked on it. Oh, I'm getting Zelda and Bomberman. The D-pad thing is weird. I will say that. The Switch is not portable. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's the same size as a 3DS XL pretty much, and I bring a 3DS XL wherever I go. Yeah, where's Shenmue 3 and Psychonauts 2? They're doing lines of blow off hookers' asses. God, I'm not on my channel. I can't say things like that. Shenmue 3 and Psychonauts 2 are coming along great, and those developers are great people, and I really like them. Will ARMS be an esport game? They're trying. I had no interest in ARMS. To be perfectly honest with you. The game didn't look cool to me. But I think it might end up being a Splatoon. I think it might end up being a Splatoon. Like, there's a rumbling, and they're already looking at the esport people by bringing it to Genesis. So maybe I missed the mark with that game. But as of right now, no, I'm not interested. What is there after Mario? Yeah, they're going to show you that. I wouldn't hold your breath on Red Dead or GTA 5. Red Dead, I believe, was just too long in the development cycle. Plus, you don't see Rockstar Games supporting Nintendo platforms since what? Chinatown Wars on the DS. So I'm not holding my breath for either one of those games. Maybe 6. Depends what engine they do. Once again, folks, it depends on how well the system sells if you're going to see these games. If there was a way for them to put Grand Theft Auto 4 onto the Wii when the Wii was at its peak, Rockstar would have freaking done it. Didn't Nintendo delay the Switch for games to be ready? Why only 5 games at launch? Nintendo delayed the Switch for Zelda. That's it. I honestly think Zelda wasn't ready to go. I thought that Zelda... Oh, yeah, Manhunt 2 on the Wii. Manhunt 2 on the Wii. Very good point. I actually like that game a lot. I love strangling people with the Wii controls. That was pretty fun. But yeah, they delayed it for Zelda because Zelda wasn't ready, and they wanted to simul release it because Zelda's going to help push the system. When it comes to beef, doesn't Rockstar and Nintendo have beef? Every company, look at Square Enix and Nintendo. These people were ready to slit throats. Okay, that's why you didn't see shit from anything from them on the N64. But what happened with the Nintendo DS? It sold well. And here comes Square Enix. Hey, boys, what's going on? Haven't seen you in a while. Pew, pew. Let's put Chrono Trigger and Dragon Quest on your system. And Final Fantasy Remix. Like, all that matters at the end of in the world of business, you could hate a person. You could hate someone beyond belief. You could think they're the stupidest person in the world. But if they can make you money, you play ball with them. The Switch needed a main Pokemon game. Yes. Enough of the spinoffs. This is the system to do it. Pokemon Company says that their games are better suited for portable systems. This technically can be a portable system. It's time to drop the BS. It's time to drop the nonsense. Go ahead and do it. Rockstar making LA Noire for the Switch. First off, I think that rumor is total BS. Second off, that is a weird freaking game to put on the Switch. Why? It didn't do that great on the other platforms. It's how old? No, I don't like that. That's like the Resident Evil 7 rumor. Shout outs to Obi-Wan, but I knew that was bullshit. Like, his information, whoever was giving him information was wrong. Simple as that. But I knew that there was no way you were seeing Resident Evil 7 on the Switch. And what happened today? It was confirmed to not be coming to the Switch. I know things, folks. I know things. I'm the old man. I'm the wise old owl. Holy crap! Got 136 viewers. Very nice. Yeah, Obi's a good guy. He just got bad information. I'm doing a podcast with him on Friday. Like, you know. Yeah, I mean, we'll get a Smash Brothers. I wish we could get a new Pokemon Snap. No, the Switch can run a PS4 game. That's the biggest misconception. You're actually seeing Japanese companies that are talking about console parity. Dragon Quest Heroes is a PS4 game. So I'm getting Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2 plus new content exclusive to the Switch all on one disc. Sure, the graphics are not going to be as high fidelity as the PS4, but that's the whole thing about the Switch. They've supposedly, according to companies like Miss America, they are supposedly made it very easy to downscale your game to fit the system. Because honestly, if you look at the Nintendo Switch, if they would have put it on a power level of a PS4 or a PS4 Pro and still done the portability thing, it would have been so much more expensive. So much more expensive, to the point of where it would be silly. They wouldn't even sell things to the hardcore fan. So, you know, could Nintendo have gone with a traditional home console? Sure. Oh, I did say disc. But you know, it's not feasible. It's because if you play the power game 3 years into the power game, you're going to get burned. I'm actually looking forward to Resident Evil 7. I might actually pick it up this week. Just depends. I mean, Obi's an excited guy. He's, you know, like I said, there's negative people on Nintendo that do their thing, and there's positive people on Nintendo that do their thing. And Obi is definitely on the positive end of the spectrum. That's just him. He's, even off camera, he's a very upbeat and positive guy. So, I mean, you can't fault him for that. Oh, wow. I think Mario Odyssey is the new Sonic Adventure, not the new Mario 64. No. I totally disagree, man. I totally disagree. I think Super Mario Odyssey was one of the games that literally all I could say was holy shit during the presentation. That game's going to be something special. Don't sleep on it. Do I see the Tales series coming to the Switch? Once again, That's a Bandai Namco game. Bandai Namco works on Nintendo properties. I believe you could definitely see it. You're seeing Square Enix with a lot of support. You're seeing a lot of Japanese games. I Am Setsuna with exclusive Switch content. So it's not outside the realm of possibility. Do I think VR Switch is real? No. As simple as that. Did I play Dragon Quest VIII? Yes, I did. I reviewed it on enthusiast.gg. Jason has the, the capture card for the 3DS. He did not get a copy sent to him from Nintendo because Nintendo has recently switched PR companies in Canada, so we weren't able to capture any footage, but I did do a written review. Downscale Battlefield 1 720p Xbox or Switch will look like garbage. Well, first off, you wouldn't have to downscale it to 720p. You could run it at 1080p on the home console part, and then the game would just downscale itself onto the tablet part, which the screen is so much smaller than your modern television. And I'm sorry, when did 720p become like this disgusting, unplayable thing? First off, here's what matters with video games. Frame rate. Frame rate matters. You can have a game that's I gotta censor myself. You can have a game that is 8K. An 8K game, if it runs at 2 frames per second, who cares about it? Like, people are so caught up in resolutions and stuff, and it blows my mind. It just blows my mind. Who cares? If a game is good, why do I play retro games? Because they're good. Not because of resolutions, because they're good. I do hope there is a new Luigi's Mansion. I saw somebody say something about Scalebound. That's a possibility, I feel. Because Platinum is hurting for money right now. There's no I just got a message that there is a Tales game coming to the Switch. So there we go. Platinum is hurting for money. Scalebound took a lot out of them, and just to let it die seems kind of silly. Nintendo has done this with Bayonetta. I think it could easily be done, and that, Nintendo and Platinum have a great working relationship, so it's not outside the realm of possibility. I would love to see River City Ransom and Double Dragon 4 for the Switch. I just think the timing is off, unfortunately. River City Ransom, of course, is on the 3DS, and Double Dragon you may end up seeing Double Dragon since it's a digital game. Exactly, Ozuk. I mean, I play my PS4 all the time, and it's like I could go from a PS4 to an NES game like that. Like, it doesn't bother me. What do I think of the Virtual Console launch on the Switch? What are they hiding? I think they're hiding something cool, man. I think they're really hiding something cool. I don't know what that is, but I do think they're hiding something cool. I would like to see a new version of Sonic R on the Switch. I don't hate Sonic R. I'm supposed to, but that's true, highly unexplored. But what they could technically do is, although they own the Scalebound IP, they could still take the assets and all that stuff and just make a new game. But I mean, that's the biggest problem with Microsoft right now. Everyone's talking. This is what amazes me, folks. Everyone is talking about how Nintendo could get themselves in trouble with the Switch. Sure. People are not talking about Microsoft, though. And I'm not talking as a Microsoft hater. I've owned every Microsoft product except the Xbox One, which I will get an Xbox One Type S eventually. But that company does not care about home consoles anymore. And that's why the Project Scorpio is so interesting to me. I don't see the point of it. You obviously do not care about the home console market. All of your games that are exclusives are available on the PC. You care more about the PC market. You're canceling games that are exclusives. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're not winning the power war against the PS4. You're not winning in sales. You're beyond halfway behind. So that, I think, is why Nintendo didn't get into this power race, because the PS4 got off to such a strong start. It would be foolish. It would be foolish. Do you think old IPs getting reborn on the Switch? Yes, I honestly do. Because if you would have told me a week before the Switch presentation, here's a funny story for you guys. So Emily Rogers and I talk a lot off the record. You know, we talk a lot, and you know, just private stuff, you know, gaming related stuff I can't report on, basically. But Emily sent me a picture a week before the Switch event, and it was a picture of a leak from 4chan. And I was like, why are you showing me this? It's 4chan. And she said, because I think you're going to be surprised when you see what comes out of this. And that leak on 4chan had stuff like Super Bomberman, or had Super Bomberman R, had Ultra Street Fighter 2, had Sonic Mania, had I Am Setsuna, had Square Enix on board. And I looked at it and I was like, Emily, no, you're toying with my emotions. If I see Ultra Street Fighter 2 on the Switch during that presentation, I'm chopping off a pinky. And she never said anything back. And then when it showed, I was like, damn, I owe her a pinky. Which pinky? But yeah, so I definitely think you're going to see more old IPs. Nintendo, aside from 1-2 Switch, Nintendo is not going after the mass market. Instead of going after the mass market with software, like they did with the Wii and attempted to do with the Wii U at first, you know, games like you know, Mario and, you know, mini party games and whatnot. Nintendo's not doing that with this system. They're banking on the hardware to bring in the masses, not the games. The games are for us. You look at that lineup of games, there's a lot of games for us. Japanese RPGs, old you know, old franchises reborn, like staple Nintendo franchises. This console isn't necessarily for the casual man. Walmart should be taking more pre-orders towards sometime this week. Could Star Fox Zero be ported to the Switch? It could be, but I don't know. No, Joseph, I liked Star Fox Zero. It was not a bad game in my opinion, but I don't think they'll waste the time and resources. Saturn Bomberman is the best version of Bomberman ever. Opinion. Yeah, you could say that. It could be a new Demon's Crash. Here's something I'm going to throw out there. If I'm not saying this is just personal opinion. I'm not saying this with any merit. But if I see a 2D Castlevania, a new 2D Castlevania, and a new 2D Mega Man on the Switch, I will not be surprised. I will not be surprised. Because that's the direction I feel that things are going, and I will not be surprised. Yeah, that's I can't say that name of that game. Daisega, whatever. That's a 1-to-1 port of a PS4 game. So I don't think. I mean, here's the thing. Here's something I want people to think about. Think about Square Enix on the Wii U. There's what, 2 games? One only came out in Japan. Why in the hell have I already seen 3 games from Square Enix before the system even launches? I've seen Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2. I've seen that Project Octo whatever, which is going to be a huge sleeper hit. And I've seen Dragon Quest 11 before the system. What's wrong, Lacia Tube? Talk to me, dear. What am I playing besides Nintendo? Yes, Joseph, Switch and Amir on the same day. I tweeted to Frankie. I was like, yo, that's hype. Actually, I'm arranging. Frankie's picking one up. He told me he was going to get one towards the end of the year. And I'm going to do we're going to do some Street Fighter. I'm going to stream it on one of the channels because I love Frankie. A new Micro Machines game. That kind of a small market, I feel. Entertainment Wizard, I would like to see a physical Sonic Mania. I think it would do well. Kind of silly that there isn't one. Oh, Disgaea. I thought you were like mad at me or something. I was like, what's wrong? Microsoft and Sony get let off the hook for killing in-game studios. Why? Because it's a necessity of the business. you know, it's a shame that it happens, but it just shows you how fast the business moves. Do I think Smash Wii U will Smash get a deluxe version? I think so. I think so. All DLC, better graphics, potentially release this year, honestly. Unless they're doing a brand new one. If they're doing a brand new one, I just don't imagine them doing a deluxe version now and then releasing it in like 2018. So if you don't see it at E3, I don't think you will see a deluxe version. No, the physical edition of Sonic Mania doesn't come with the actual game. Sad but true. Could Retro be working on Raven's Blade? I'm not sure what Raven's Blade is, so we'll look that up. A canceled RPG from Retro on the GameCube. Interesting. I'm not super familiar with this game actually, but could be. Let me look around a little bit more. Retro Worldwide was really canceled to free up resources for Metroid Prime. Blah 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 blah. Interesting. It's a possibility. Oh, someone's calling me on Facebook. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry about that. All right, let me get back to this here. Next Call of Duty coming to Switch. Yes, we talked about that earlier. That's a no-brainer to me. I don't think they'll do many more. Smash to me is the only other game that deserves the deluxe treatment. First-person shooter would do great. I think so. Yeah, you just get a download card with Sonic Mania. I would love to see another Fatal Frame. I don't know why they did what they did with it, but hold on. I would love to see another Fatal Frame. And this time, if it just gets a physical release in Europe, I can actually buy it. Region free for the win. Will the Switch get WWE 2K18? That's a 2K game. 2K is doing NBA 2K18. They still make the old versions for PS3 and Xbox 360, so not outside the realm of possibility. A lot of people seem to think that Final Fantasy VII remake will end up on Switch. They have to do something with the Cloud amiibo. Like, obviously the Ryu amiibo is going to do something in Ultra Street Fighter. So I think it's not outside the realm of possibility that you see Cloud in there. What games am I playing on PS4? Right now, I'm still playing Assault Defense Force 4.1, and I recently just got the UFC game, and I'm going through a career mode in that and just knocking people out. Is Nintendo going to do an expansion pack for the Switch? That's actually an interesting question, because I honestly feel that the whole reason, because when you look at the prices of everything, the dock is $90, the Joy-Cons are $70, the system is $300. So let's take $150 and subtract that from $300. What do you have left? $150. So if Nintendo, a couple years down the road, instead of having you rebuy everything, can just say, hey, we have a new system coming out. You can rebuy the whole thing if you didn't buy our Nintendo Switch, or Nintendo Switch owners, all you have to do is get this new game pad or tablet or whatever, and it'll cost you $150 to $200, and it's twice as strong. That's a whole new marketplace, sir. That's a whole new marketplace. What are some of the things I want? Do I like FMV games? I like them occasionally, but I think that ship has sailed. I think the cinematic experience are the new FMV games. I do want a new Wave Race. Will studios support amiibos if it's integrated well into the Switch? And so far, it does look to be, but they need to actually do something with these amiibo. What are some things I want from the online services? Good connections. No friend codes, which I already got. Easy to use. And cheap. I don't mind paying, but I don't want to pay what I pay for the PlayStation Network. Offer me an alternative. Opinion on Joy-Cons and first-person shooters. I haven't had much chance to get my hands on a Joy-Con. A lot of people say that Joy-Cons, feel great. They work great. I will need to see it to believe it, for sure. Do I think Nintendo will bring back Konami from their bad reign of decisions because of the comeback Super Bomberman R? I don't think you'll ever see Konami big again on home consoles unless it's a Nintendo console. Because that Nintendo, like we've said earlier, Nintendo went to Konami and said, hey, we want this game. And Konami was like, okay. So if Nintendo keeps doing that, they're like, hey, Castlevania, we want a 2D Castlevania, a 2.5D Castlevania in the style of Symphony of the Night, big game, exclusive to our system. Okay. Like, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? Nintendo's probably throwing them money if they're once again, it all matters about money. That's all these companies care about. Why is Konami doing the pachinko machines? Because the pachinko machines are making the money. I hate to say it because I hate pachinko. I don't know about this Mario Maker thing. I think a lot of you guys want to see it. I just don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like people got done with the game, got tired of it. Like, unless they're adding in a whole bunch of new elements, from other Mario games, I just don't think, I don't think we'll see it, but I could be wrong. Can we get a new Contra? I mean, what was the last Contra on? The DS. Not outside the realm of possibility. Unified accounts are great. That is awesome. Toy Commander, maybe not the most underrated Dreamcast game, but it's definitely there. Do I think a simulator game like SimCity or Civilization makes its way to the Switch? Maybe not SimCity. I could see Civ, though. Nintendo has a huge database of Mario Maker levels from the Wii U and the 3DS. They can expand with the Switch. Yeah, but I just don't know. I don't know. Will EA use the Frostbite engine at least for FIFA? Well, there's been rumors that the FIFA is the last generation version, which, I mean, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. If so, they're going to, and everyone's like, well, they're just doing FIFA. Nobody cares about FIFA. FIFA's popular in Europe. Like, it might not be as popular in the States. It might not be as popular in Canada, but it's very popular in Europe. So why FIFA of all games? I don't know. That's interesting. But you have to remember, EA did have a lot of support on the Wii U, unprecedented support, and at the end of the day, they did not make their money back. I mean, let's face it. What was the best version of Need for Speed? What the hell was the name of that game? It wasn't Underground. It was Hot Pursuit? Most Wanted. Need for Speed Most Wanted. What was the best version? It was the Wii U version. The Wii U version was the PS3 and Xbox 360 version, but better. It had PC textures in it. It was the best home console version of that game visually and gameplay-wise. And they wasted a lot of time and money on it. Digital Man, can you hit me up on Facebook with that tweet if you have a chance? That would be awesome. Do I think Bart and the Space Mutants is coming back? No. Yeah, I've seen the LA Noire rumor. It's kind of a weird rumor. I don't really buy it. But what do we got here? Mario Maker and Sonic Maker would make a great Mario Maker sequel. Two different styles of games, man. I don't think that would work in a side-by-side thing. Thoughts on the Fire Emblem Direct? Interesting question. Yes, Visor Grunt, you're completely right. That was the whole point. That was the whole problem with third-party support on the Wii U. It had it, but the other versions were already out and cheaper. It was like, why the hell would I buy it on the Wii U if it's so much cheaper on these other platforms? The Fire Emblem... wow, I can't talk. The Fire Emblem Direct was good. I kind of agree with Rerez. Rerez was pretty shocked to hear that they were releasing the Warriors game on the thank you, Digital Man. I'll have to report that. I don't think we did that on the site. God, I'm missing stuff lately. I'm getting old in my age. I think what the hell was I talking about? I don't even remember. Now I got sidetracked. But yeah, whatever I said was right. Zelda Maker should happen. That would be interesting. One of my thoughts on the mobile app voice chat, I need to see it in action. A lot of people are crucifying it, and to me, that's silly. At least see what's out there first. Will Overwatch do great on the Switch? I'm not an Overwatch fan, so if that doesn't come out, no big deal to me. Oh, Fire Emblem. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so Re-Res thought it was really weird that they were bringing it out to the new 3DS, but I think that the new 3DS install base is still small enough to the point of where I don't think it'll hurt the Switch version. Obviously, the Switch version is going to be the better version. Fire Emblem Warriors isn't a game that's intended to sell a system. It's intended to please system owners. Yeah, I just Overwatch would be cool because of the whole. That's the thing, man. I want to see first-person shooters because if you have multiple Switch owners, friends that own the Switch, you could do so much with that in the same room. Everyone has their own screen, and it's a nice screen. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Hopefully that becomes a thing. Mega Man Collection will be on the Switch. That would be cool. Dark Souls on the Switch. Supposedly they got Dark Souls running on it. So I think Yooka-Laylee will be released around the time of the other versions. Maybe not the same week, but I don't know. I mean, they've probably already established, that they're going to do this. So I don't. It's because you're not here, Jason. It's just me. I don't foresee them. Just going either way for that. 5 games I'm excited for on the Switch: Zelda, Mario, Sonic Mania, Street Fighter, Bomberman, all in the first year, baby. I can't stress that enough. That's a system seller for me. Who won the debate between OJ and Re-Res? Like I said earlier, I believe the viewers were the winner because they got 2 different sides of the coin, and there was a lot of good information in there. So, I was cool. I was cool with either one of them winning. The Titanfall 2 dev was drunk, and I say crazy things when I'm drunk. So, I mean, what is Titanfall? What is Titanfall? Am I satisfied with the Switch's power based on the games they showed so far? Yes, I'll say yes, because Super Mario Odyssey is very visually impressive, I feel. It's definitely the best looking Mario game out there. And Nintendo's not the one to go with realistic graphics. So I want to see what the third party games are going to be the actual litmus test, I feel. A game like whatchamacallit, NBA 2K18, that is a litmus test game because I want to see side by side what the PS4 version and what the Switch version looks like. Because the Switch version, as long as it looks pretty decent, can sell because of the whole bring it with you wherever you go. They don't even make NBA 2K games anymore on the mobile platforms. It's all cell phones. And even if he wasn't that drunk, who cares about Titanfall? Like, people didn't even buy Titanfall 2. Like, it sold like crap. It was marked down within like a week or two. Like, I don't know. Someone kept saying Xenoblade 2. Xenoblade 2 is not coming out this year. I'm sorry. I love it, but I don't think Xenoblade 2 is coming out this year. That's just me. I think you'll see it in 2018, which isn't a huge deal, but Mario Odyssey won't get delayed. That's Nintendo's trump card. That's just a saying. I'm not talking politics here, people. That's a trump card, though. That's a system seller. They're going to bundle that with the Switch for $300 at Christmas, and boom, 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 sell like hotcakes. Did LKD lie or have bad information? I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to talk about that. I think that's an interesting topic. It's an interesting topic. I don't know. I'm not her. I mean, Titanfall 2, I'm not saying is a bad game. Like it's solid, but it's not needed. Titanfall isn't needed on the Switch. How long am I going for? Just till 9. 6 more minutes. We have a great audience tonight. 173 people. It's awesome, guys. Yeah, Overwatch and Call of Duty and Battlefield all were in that same little realm, and then here comes Titanfall 2, and a lot of people felt burned on Titanfall 1 for the lack of a single player. So, well, Breath of the Wild, people, this is what blows me away, folks. A lot of people seem to think that that Breath of the Wild is gonna outsell the Wii U version. I mean, the Wii U version is not going to sell the Switch version. Are you crazy? Are you nuts? Are you nuts? No. No. God almighty. I'll eat my hat. The SCD patent, it remains to be seen. It remains to be seen. Scale of 1 to 10, how glad am I that Bomberman R is a retro one and not the rebooted one? 10, 11, 50. What up, Jorge or George? I never know how to say your name. What do I want to see from Nintendo at E3? Just show me the games, man. Just show me the games. Show me games. I don't care what you show me as long as they're games. As far as inferior versions, see, that's the thing. Graphically inferior? Yeah, I'll give you that. But are they really inferior? Because can I take my PlayStation 4 to take a dump? Can I, even inside of my house, the Wii U had a purpose because I could take that gamepad wherever. With the Switch, I could take it wherever and then leave my house. You know what I'm saying? So all because of a loss of graphical fidelity, but I gain portability. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Do you think the rumors caused the expectations to be high for the Switch at 250? Yeah, I was on board with 250. I thought that's what the Switch was going to be, and then when it wasn't, I was like, oh, well, right, 300, whatever. I don't want to see a dock upgrade. I want to see a tablet upgrade. That's where the money is. The tablet will be the upgrades in the tablet. The dock doesn't need to be upgraded. All the dock is doing is providing basically a TV signal and powering the system. I want the tablet itself to be the main focus. Does Zelda on Wii U hurt the Switch? No. Anyone who says that is lying. Because here's the thing, folks. People are buying the Switch for Zelda. Wii U owners who don't want the Switch quite yet will pick up Zelda on the Wii U. But those people don't want the Switch yet. So those people aren't affected. Those people are still getting their Zelda game. So good for them. And the Switch owners are still getting their Zelda game. Good for them. But there's a lot more pre-orders out there. If you look at pre-order numbers, you look on Amazon, look anywhere where that tracks pre-order stuff, there's a hell of a lot more for the Switch than there is for the Wii U. VR, yay or nay? Nay. It's not its time yet, man. VR, look at the PlayStation 4 VR. Who's talking about that? No one. That's an interesting point, Visor Grunt. The PS2 was the weakest system of the three, had the worst graphics of the three, and sold the best. All right, so we are almost at 9 o'clock, so I'm going to take a couple more quick questions here. You don't want your dock? You're giving it away? Okay. Will Switch outlast PlayStation VR? Yes. I think... I don't know. They're going to push for it hard this year, and then when it continues to not sell, they're just going to go back to video games. Which games from GameCube and N64? You got to have Super Mario Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion. The GameCube Virtual Library is actually a really smart way to get people excited for new releases in those franchises. Like if there is GameCube support and you drop, Super Mario Sunshine a couple weeks before Odyssey. If they decided to do a Luigi's Mansion and you do a Luigi's Mansion a couple of weeks before, that's a great way to do it. My Nintendo is not a dead service. My Nintendo is just being put on hold for the Switch, I feel. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Should Nintendo have not done the Joy-Con to reduce the price? I mean, it depends. I haven't had a chance to play one. I need to feel it. I need to see what it's like. I'm not buying any extra Joy-Cons. I don't have many real-life friends to where I want them to play anything with me. How will Switch play games and racing games that need analog triggers to play? Time will tell. I'm not too worried about that, though. Once again, if there's one thing to take away from this topic, it's this whole discussion. It's that all that matters at the end of the day is how the system sells at launch. It's all that matters at the end of the day. Because what's going to happen is all the Western developers are looking at that. They're the ones that care about that. Japanese is already on board. Your Japanese developers are already on board. You got Square Enix, you got Capcom, you got Konami, you got Sega. Those are your big. You got NIS America, what I call them. Those are your big companies, and they're already on board with the system. They already have games on the system. So all you need is the Western developers. The Western developers are sitting back watching. And when that Switch sells well, and then Mario Kart comes out and they sell more, Splatoon comes out and they sell more, and Super Mario Odyssey comes out and they sell more, they're going to be like, hey, there's money to be made here. Boys, start making some games for it. And that's what's going to happen. So as long as the system has a strong launch, it'll be fine. It's the reverse Wii U. Because on the Wii U, you had so many third-party games, you had a really good initial sales period, and then plummeted. Because no games. There was no games for the system. You had nothing. You had Pikmin 3. That was it. So, thank you guys for coming out. 175 viewers. That is awesome. I'm going to leave this conversation up if you want to, if you missed some of it or whatever. Maybe Jason will put it up on the iTunes and SoundCloud stuff. I'm not sure. But sincerely, thank you guys for coming out and hanging out with me. This was really fun. Hopefully, Jason will feel better next week. If not, maybe I'll be back here again. We are going to do something on Obi-Wan's channel on Friday, so make sure you look out for that. I'm also planning a video for this channel this week, so be on the lookout for that. And once again, thank you all for coming out. It was a blast. All right, I will catch you guys next time. Am I going to sing? Loving you is easy because you're beautiful. Do, 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 do.